Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a report that's got more twists than a pretzel factory. It's like watching a company play financial limbo, trying to squeeze under the bar of debt. Before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where you all can discuss more about it. Today we are looking at an 8K filing from Generation Income Properties, or GIP, as I will call them from now on. This report is all about them taking out a loan. Now, loans aren't always bad, but it's important to understand why they took it out, what the terms are, and what it means for the company's future. So let's get right to it. First off, let's see what this filing is actually about. Under item 1.01, it mentions entry into a material definitive agreement. This is just a fancy way of saying they signed a big important deal in this case. It's related to the loan we mentioned earlier. Okay, now let's get into the real meat of the matter. We are scrolling to item 203, which talks about the creation of a direct financial obligations, which I will call a DBT. This tells us GIP took on a new financial responsibility they now owe. Now we are at a much more interesting part, the loan agreement. On June 13, 2025, one of GIP's smaller indirect companies called GIPDC, 3707 14th Centi LLC, borrowed money from Valley National Bank. The initial amount of the loan was about $1.1 million C. Borrowed is called the loan. This loan is secured by a property in Washington, DC, specifically the property located at 3707 3711 14th Street, NW. This basically means that if GIP doesn't pay back the loan, the bank can take the property. The loan has a fixed interest rate of 640% per year. This is the percentage the company is paying per year above what they borrowed. This is a very important part. The company mentioned that the net proceeds of the loan were used to extract equity from the property for other course of the company. This might be a red flag, as it can mean they want to use the cash in operations. Of the 1.1 million loan, only $750,000 was disbursed at closing. The other funds will only be issued upon meeting some conditions, including renewing the lease with 7-Eleven. It expiring in March 31, 2026. The company needs to extend the lease for additional 5 years. It's important to note that even if they get the lease renewal, the money will only be given if the bank is happy with all requirements. If the renewal works out, the loan is extended to almost 5 years. This is important because if the lease renewal isn't given, the loan will mature and need to be repaid by March 31, 2026. The loan agreement also says GIP needs to keep a certain debt service coverage ratio, or DSCR, which is like a health metric for a company's debt, being at least 1.5 times more debt payments. The report also notes that David E. Sobelman, who is the executive chairman of GIP, also agreed to guarantee some debts of the company. This means if the borrower doesn't pay, Sobelman might have to. Finally, 3 exhibits are attached to the report. The loan agreement, which lists all terms of the loan. Kiruchu promissory note. That is a simple version and legally binding promises to repay the loan by the company. Finally, the guarantee agreement, which is David Sobelman's guarantee to the bank. Now let's put this all together and see what it might mean for Generation Income Properties. Keep in mind, I don't know exactly every intricacy of their business, only inside these reports. It's like taking a loan to pay off another loan, which leads to more debt and so on. It is possible that GIP is struggling to find other ways to fund its operations, and relying on debt could be a slippery slope. The fact that they need to renew the lease with 7-Eleven to get the full loan amount adds additional risk. This means GIP's ability to get all of the funds is tied to a third party. Overall, the report paints a picture of a company that's taking on debt to manage its finances. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's a sign that investors should keep a close eye on how GIP manages its debt and whether it can continue to generate enough income to cover its obligations. It will be very important to watch what happens with the lease renewal of the 7-Eleven and make sure GIP is handling its finances well. If GIP struggles, they might have issues paying what they owe, leading to bankruptcy. Alright, that's our breakdown of GIP's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.